This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 601 for April 29th, 2019. The 1-1 of first-person shooters.
Nuketown sucks.
You need to rack it, then tap it, and then you can pull the trigger.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hey, how's it going?
We have a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks out right now. On the public feed is Rocky. So go check that out right now. It's in this same feed right now. And in the patron feed at the $5 or more level is Back to the Future.
Yep, it's one of the big ones.
Yeah, I had to laugh because you put your usual poll up. If anyone hasn't seen it on Twitter, Moon puts up a poll that's like, all right, we're going to watch this movie, and it's like one of three options, where it's like everybody's seen it, most people have seen it, or it's like a hidden gem.
Cult classic.
Yeah, cult classic. I couldn't have clicked and everyone has seen it faster, because it's like, that's one of those movies where it's like, everyone has seen this movie.
Yep, it's like Starship Troopers. When I put the poll up for Starship Troopers, I know everybody's going to vote for cult classic on that specific one.
Right.
Yeah.
So go check that out. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, $5 or higher tier. Remember, it's only $5 a month. That's nothing. You get a whole bunch of stuff, including outcasts of this episode, where we have a, to be clear, non-spoilery talk about Avengers Endgame at the beginning.
Yep.
Just for you patrons. Patreon.com/E1M1. With all that business stuff out of the way, let's get started with you, Moonpear. What have you been playing this past week?
Going back to an old classic, first and foremost, I played The Binding of Isaac.
Okay. So did I.
I know, because I've seen you posting your daily scores, you big twerp.
I had one good daily. Well, I was a little burnt out on the game we're playing right now for We Rogue Like It, and I'm playing that on the Switch, so I closed it in a rage, to be clear.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to play something I really like. I'll play Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, if there's one roguelike palette cleanser that you can get behind, that or Gungeon. So yeah, I played a little bit of Isaac, and I can finally say that the blue candle is mine.
Yes.
After picking it up 5,000 times in daily runs, I finally got it on a regular run.
So how many more items do you need?
One.
Oh, which one? Do you remember?
The Guardian Angel.
Oh, it's always that one, man.
Which is quick throwback here to Binding of Moonpear Boston Reborn. It is the orbital item that doesn't shoot.
Right.
It's the one that has the glowy thing around it and doesn't have a face. And it's only available in angel rooms.
Right.
So,
Gotta get one of those Chaos Greed runs going.
I have been doing a whole bunch of greed runs, and then after that, I think I've got like 4 more secrets left to do. And then I will be #Platinum God. So...
Yeah, I was playing the Switch version, and on this version, I am still building the Polaroid in the negative. So it's interesting to defeat Mom and have just an item drop, and it's like, oh no, did I break it? No, okay, no, yeah, I'm good. All right.
Yeah. So the it's one of those things where I doubt I'll ever get the DLC for the Xbox version at this point.
Like, why bother? Do you have it on Steam?
I don't, and to be honest, as much as I love Isaac, I don't really want to support Nicholas. I don't want to buy this game twice because they refuse to put the DLC out on my platform.
When they refuse to support a lot of the consoles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm 3 achievements away from a full gamer score in that, and because it does the whole DLC thing where the second you load the DLC, it includes that in your percentages. So I haven't even got original Platinum God, even though I have all of the original items.
Right.
Because it now officially, because I have the DLC installed, it counts them towards the completion for Platinum God. So once I've done the secrets and the items, I'll get 3 achievements at once, and that'll be the game done.
You can just delete it at that point.
I don't know about delete, but definitely put a big check mark next to I beat this game. Thank you very much.
I have completed Isaac.
Yes. So yeah, Binding of Isaac. Go listen to the 56 episodes of the show that we did specifically about that game for more information.
Yep.
56 episodes, dude. Come on.
It's a good game.
I downloaded and started Metal Slug Infinite.
Oh, man, I did too. I forgot to talk about that last week.
So did I.
Oh, it is an experience.
I don't like this game, and I uninstalled it.
It's, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a combination of Metal Slug and an incremental game, which sort of used to be called Clickers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's super successful.
I don't think it's super good.
Yeah, I like incremental games a lot, so I thought, well, one of my favorite mobile genres plus Metal Slug, which is incredible, but it just... I don't think it has a lot of meat on the bone.
No.
There's not a ton to do.
Yeah, to be honest, it just throws so much at you really quick, and it's just like, you haven't given me a level progression, you haven't given me any real information as to what I'm doing here, so I'm out. Like, I just switched it off, uninstalled it, I'm done.
The tutorial was bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
slow for some real weird reason.
Yep. So, yeah, I installed and then uninstalled Metal Slug Infinite.
I haven't played it in about a week, so I guess that's my review.
Yes. I played a couple of quick rounds of Bomber Crew, the old Game Pass classic, because it's really good to just load her up, do a couple of missions, and then turn her off. Like it's a fun, stupid little easy strategy game, which I've been in the mood for more brainless gaming the past couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and I haven't been really playing much because I'm in that kind of mood. So I'm looking for my just a quickie games. So right now, Bomber Crew is right up there that qualifies under the just a quickie banner, and you know it's fun. You load it up, you listen to a podcast, you shoot some jets out the sky, jets. You shoot some biplanes out the sky,
right?
And you land. Then you do another mission and you stop playing. It's a good little bite-sized experience kind of thing. So playing that it's helping with the fatigue I'm feeling right now with video gaming in general.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of brainless gaming, Sleepy Dogs. My slow progression in Sleepy Dogs continues very slowly.
You're just savoring it.
Well, yeah, plus it's a great game, so that helps.
Yeah.
I have just become a red pole, which out of context is really interesting phrasing. It's a good game. It plays well, it controls well, it's dumb, it's fun, and I'm going to continue to just very, very, very slowly chip away at that game until I beat it.
It's one of my favorite open world games, easily.
Yes. Did you ever play it, Nim?
Yeah, I got about halfway through it, and I think I still have it for the PS3, but I just never got back around to it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the remastered version on PS4 and Xbox One is really good.
Yep.
I think the version I have is the definitive version that they re-released for the PS3 later on.
Right, with all the DLC and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that game so much. I played through it on the 360, got to 98%, so one achievement left. Got to 98%, had a save corruption file.
No. And
then replayed the whole thing again to get to the 100%. And now I'm replaying it again.
It's so good.
It's dumb, and the first time you play it, the story is good and shocking. But then if you're playing through it again, it's dead easy to just go in, switch your brain off, karate kick a couple of fools out the way. And because I'm playing the remastered version, I have all of the DLC, including all of the dumb bonus costumes.
Like the guy from Just Cause.
Yep, the guy from Just Cause. I was previously dressed as Jet Li, I believe it is, in the... I can't remember his name. His classic, Shanghai, kung fu movies. I wish I could. They used to be my favorite, and now I forgot them. But that gave you like bonus face XP, and now my face XP is maxed out. So now I'm dressed as Chow Yun Fat in his. I think it's whatever the prequel to the Stranglehold movies were.
Right.
So I'm now dressed as that to make it even easier for myself. So it's so stupid and dumb and fun. So
Can't you dress up as Adam Jensen too?
I believe you can as well.
I think
yes.
that's who I went, and because you get the dumb sunglasses, and I was like, this is perfect. That's who I'm gonna dress up as.
And pretty much my final game this week was Far Cry 5. Because if you're in the mood to turn your brain off and play some games, let me tell you all about some Far Cry.
Let me tell you about some hoarder caches.
Specifically with Far Cry 5, though, I played all of the arcade mode. Not all of it, but a lot of the arcade mode in the game. Because I'd already beat the story. I'd already done everything on that side of things. And probably at some point today, there will be a tweet going up on my timeline. Thank you, automatic tweeting. Saying, I completed the game, Far Cry 5.
Yes.
Because it had 5 arcade mode achievements in. And the arcade mode in Far Cry 5 is essentially build a bear workshop for Far Cry levels.
Okay.
So people go in, you can create horde mode, you can create like runner levels, you can create deathmatch multiplayer maps, you can do all that kind of stuff. Like it's got that creator like mentality thing inside of it. And there's a bunch of achievements like play a bunch of single player modes. Play the ones I didn't think I'd ever get was in arcade mode multiplayer matches, kill 100 people.
Oh.
Win 10 multiplayer matches on featured maps. Sure, why not? And there was another one which was multiplayer focused. And I thought, I'm never going to get those. Never. Yeah. It's Far Cry 5. The multiplayers probably died like a week after the thing came out.
Right.
Oh boy, was I wrong.
Really?
Yes. And I got 100 kills in like 3 hours. Like,
wow.
Because people who are playing Far Cry 5 Arcade are terrible at video games.
That's interesting.
It's difficult to put my finger on it. Like, if I jump in and play Siege, the people who are playing Siege are going to wipe the floor and the walls and the ceiling with me because they are the people who play Siege and only Siege. I'm looking at my wife right now as a good example of this.
Right.
If you go back and you try and play Saints Row 2 online, the only people who are still playing Saints Row 2 online are the people who are going to wipe the floor with you and the ceiling and the walls.
Yeah.
For some reason, the people who are playing Far Cry 5 Arcade multiplayer maps are really bad at video games.
It's so weird.
Like, to quote my wife, like I was talking to my wife about this and she tweeted this earlier today, so I'm stealing directly from her. I was speaking to her about this, like, look, I don't know if it's just a bunch of noobs playing this game, but I am like kicking ass and taking names.
Right.
And her response was, well, you are frustratingly good at video games, which might be one of the nicest things she's ever said to me.
Yeah. You do love me.
The few times we've got into real arguments has been how good I am about video games. I'm not going to tell those stories here. I might save that for a Patreon content at some point. But I was like, you're talking like I didn't go negative in KD ever.
Wow.
And it's a first-person shooter. I always go negative in KD because I'm okay. I'm not great. And I'm running around and getting like 5 kills in like the space of 4 seconds.
Jeez.
And it was one of those things. Was like, no way. It's gonna take me like 20 hours. I'm gonna be loading in, getting 1 kill for every 6 deaths. No, it turns out the people are just bad. I'm not gonna say I'm good. I'm just gonna say they are bad.
You're just saying you found your esport.
Yes,
Far Cry 5.
My esport. It is worth mentioning that like the custom maps that the people have been throwing up in this game are really well done. There was a map called The Division, and it looked like New York. It was overgrown with like busted vehicles and plants growing out of anything.
That's cool.
Like, it was really well designed. And then there's a whole bunch of other maps, and then Nuketown shows up.
Of course.
And let me just categorically state this for the record. F Nuketown.
Okay.
I hate Nuketown. It is a perfectly fine designed map if it's a 3-on-3 or a 6-person deathmatch game. For 6v6, it's too small of an area. There's too much chaos going on. And then, of course, because it's custom design maps, everyone throws their own custom weapon loadouts in there. So you've got an RPG. You've got a grenade launcher. You've got all
Triple
kinds
kill.
of... Exactly.
Well, it's not as bad as the container yard level that they used to have, where it was even smaller than Nuketown and everyone would have RPGs and stuff. So as soon as you spawned, you were dead.
Yep. That's pretty much what playing on the Far Cry version of Nuketown felt like as well. And it's like, people, stop voting for Nuketown. This is Far Cry. You want Nuketown? Go play Call of Duty.
It's like
Give me one of those.
It's like the 1-1 of first-person shooters.
Yeah. Honestly, that's exactly how I thought. I was like, how long till Nuketown? Like, that's what it takes. But I played it. I played maybe 20 rounds, and 10 of them were the featured maps, and we won because somehow I won 2 deathmatch games, like solo deathmatch games. I won 2 of them.
Wow.
I don't know how that's possible. That never happens to me. So if you ever want to feel good about yourself and you feel like playing some multiplayer, go play Far Cry 5 arcade mode. And go play Doom 2016's competitive multiplayer, because they're both full of noobs, and you'll feel great by the time you're done.
Man.
But it's a decent enough arcade mode. Some of the single player maps are actually genuinely fun. And now they've added a whole bunch of DLC, so you've got like a Vietnam level skin, a Mars level skin.
Oh, wow.
There was a level which was a journey level where you have to get from the start to the exit. And it was essentially War of the Worlds with just a whole bunch of striders going through this forest. It was like,
That's cool.
that's great. It's fun. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I'm going to uninstall Far Cry 5 now. Correction, I already have uninstalled Far Cry 5 now.
Au revoir.
Yeah, au revoir, and I'll see you in the New Dawn, because I have that installed.
Right.
So I'll get there eventually. Hashtag spoilers for Far Cry 5 in the trailer. Why?
Why, Ubisoft? Why?
But no, it was fun. And to be honest, that's pretty much all I've been playing, because I want brainless gaming, and those 4 or 5 games all pretty much amount to brainless gaming for me.
Yeah. All right, Nip, how about you this past week?
So I was kind of in the same boat, where I was just looking for something simple, and I was stupid busy this week. So I ended up playing Final Fantasy VII on the PS4.
There you go.
Which is a game that in my youth on the PlayStation 1 was something that I played way too much of.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going back through it, and I'm at the part right now where I'm about to get Sid. But I've kind of just been sitting there min-maxing, because you get the 3 cheats where you can turn off encounters, you can ×3 the speed, and you can turn on a cheat where you get infinite limit breaks, MP and HP, and all that fun stuff. So I started grinding out everybody's limit breaks and all that, and I've almost got everyone up to limit break 4.
Nice.
And I think right now I'm 30 hours into the game, and I'm not even halfway through disc 1, or what used to be disc 1.
Yep.
And I was actually having a time too, because I was trying to unlock Vincent. There's a boss that you have to unlock. You have to go to a safe, and you have to input the safe, and you have to do it like a real safe, where you go up, then you go back down, you can't pass the number and all that.
Right.
And I forgot that's how they set it, because I still remembered what the combination was. So I'm just sitting there running through, putting in the combination, and the safe would not open. And I'm sitting here swearing at the TV and stuff. I look up the combination. It's like, I got the right combination. What is going on? And then I just happened to read some old thing back in 98. Someone was like, oh yeah, you have to do it like a real safe, where you go up to the number, then you go back down, then you go back up. And I'm like, screw this.
Stupid Square.
Right combination, wrong directions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got all that set up. Then I went back, started playing Zone of the Enders 2, played that in VR, and still have not gotten sick at all playing that game.
That's awesome.
And I've been doing all kinds of crazy dumb stuff with that game. Like, I forgot how fast paced that game was, and just like I got up to to the map where you've got like the 200 enemies on screen at once.
Yep.
And you're just sitting there blowing things up, and in VR, that's just awesome. And oh my god, the mega weapon that you get towards the end of the game, where you actually clamp down, you got like the array that builds up behind you, and you're like building up energy in front of you.
Cool.
Dude, that looks beautiful in VR.
God, I love Zone of the Enders too.
I know. God, that guy makes some crazy games.
Yeah, man.
And then the last thing, because I almost beat Zone of the Enders, and I didn't want to beat it just yet because I was still kind of goofing around with it. But then I flipped on Elite Dangerous for a little bit, and I found like this weird spot where I was doing just this random mission while I was trying to unlock engineers, and I was supposed to go to this planet-side station. So I get into the system, and it's called the Cloud Nebula Station. And I get there, and I notice that the station's moving, like, rapidly. And at first I thought something was going on, weird with the internet or whatever. And then I get closer to it, and the station's on a moon that's next to a bigger planet. So I start pulling up, and the next thing I know, I notice that my ship is starting to go sideways as I'm getting closer. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, crap, there's, like, the gravity on this one planet's too much. And so it's pulling me in. So I back away from the planet, try to figure out what's going on, and as I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm noticing that this little moon is actually physically moving fast around the planet, and that's what was happening. So then I'm trying to like devise ways to try to get to this little moon, but the gravitational pull of the planet keeps screwing me up, and I can't get it. So finally what I end up doing, because I was on a timer and I had like 10 minutes to turn this mission in, I'm like, all right, what I'm going to do is I turned on my orbital lanes where it shows you the path of how everything orbits. And I basically just sat my ship right on the orbital lane and watched the moon come at my ship. And this was happening all in real time.
That's terrifying.
And I'm thinking, it's like, all right, this is going to go one of two ways. Either I'm going to crash right into the side of this moon, or I'm going to be able to pull this off and let it pull me into its gravitational field. And then I could start orbiting the moon and land. And it got real scary because that thing kept getting bigger and bigger, and I start having alerts going off in my ship, and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna go bad. This is gonna go bad."
Yeah.
And I start slowly shifting my ship over, and then all of a sudden I just get pulled into its gravitational field, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, it worked!" And I land, and I had like a minute left to turn in this mission, but it was one of those things. It was like, man, this is not going well.
The collision impact light on Elite Dangerous is one of the scariest things you'll ever see. Like,
yeah, you'll just get like this little red warning on the bottom that says proximity alert. Kind of looking around, I'm like, what am I going to hit?
Yep.
And then you're kind of worried because it's like, all right, I've got a planet coming towards me. I'm pretty sure if I put all my pips into shields, that's going to do nothing. So I might as well put it all into engines so I can at least try to counteract the gravity and not smash into the side of this planet.
Yep.
That was the first time I'd ever run into something like that where I had to plan it out that much.
It's one of the things that I've always loved about Elite Dangerous is the sense of scale. Like the way that game's like, you're like, oh, this tiny little speck in the distance is a moon, and I'm going to the planet next to it. And you're super cruising your way to the planet, and then all of a sudden you realize that tiny little speck is filling your view because it's actually a planet-sized moon, and you're just like, I made a mistake going this fast in this direction, and now I'm going to die.
There's been a couple times where just my son had sat next to me, and he's a big Star Wars fan. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to that moon, and he saw me do this mission. He's like, I don't think that's a moon, Dad. I'm like,
thanks, buddy.
Or like my daughter, always helpful. It's like, are you gonna crash into that? It's like, I don't know. We're about to find out, baby.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
Moon, you were mentioning that you were looking for a really good turn your brain off sort of simple game. I've got the game for you on Switch. I think it was Late Elf on Twitter hit me up about this game that just came out on Switch. Has a goofy name. Stick with me. It's called Ding Dong XL.
I saw the thing he posted, and it intrigued me straight away.
Yeah.
Do you knock on people's doors and then run away?
No, that would be great. That'd be called Ding Dong Ditch XL. This game is, start off, one guy made it, it's $1. I really wish the developer would push this more. It's $1. So the investment here is very low. It's a one-button game, and you have a sort of like a receiving thing at the top and the bottom of the screen. I'm playing on Switch. And every time you hit the button, you just switch your ball between one of the two sides. And all you're trying to do, you get a point every time you switch from top to bottom, and all you're trying to do is get a high score. And you're avoiding stuff that's flying between on the screen. Sort of looks like Geometry Wars.
I love the style of it. Like, it looked really cool.
Yeah, it has that same like neon lights and sort of space field. You get an extra point for passing by the enemy shapes really closely. So it's almost like sort of Burnout style. You get some style points. And that's it. Like, when you die, very quickly can start a new run. It's $1. Ding Dong XL. Like, I spent way too much time on it this week, because it's sort of like, I could play a little bit of this, and you start a run and you get to like 6 points, and you're like, I can do better than that. You do a run, you're like 45 points, and it's like, I can do better than that. Come on.
It's one of those games.
Yeah, and it's really great. I was really happy that, thank you, Ladell, for promoting it, and it's out on Switch now. It's $1. Go get it. It's to me, it's one of those great games you want to have installed on your Switch forever, and just, it's like, I got 15-20 minutes, and then that turns into an hour and a half. So,
yep.
I played a little bit more Picross 2. Picross S2. Really, really trying my hand at mega Picross puzzles. I feel like my brain is breaking. I sort of get the rules, and I get the rules of basic Picross. That's easy enough. Sort of get the rules of mega Picross, and like it does the thing that frustrates me with these Picross S games, is it'll give you a couple of really easy puzzles and a couple of really easy 5x5s, and you're like, all right, great, yeah, okay, cool, I got these. Bam, 10x10. And like one lane just has a number 17 on it, and you're like, okay, cool. I guess we're just right in the deep end. And then Picross S3 came out this week.
Of course. Why not?
I bought that because they're only $10. I mean, each one has 150 regular puzzles, and then like dozens upon dozens of the other ones. Clip Picross, Mega Picross, and regular Picross are back on this one. They then introduced Color Picross, which is a mode I have historically hated, and I don't feel any differently this time.
Is that the one where instead of just giving you the basic numbers, it gives you the numbers and the colors of the numbers?
Yes, and this is where I run into a problem. So for anyone that hasn't played a nonogram or a Picross game, basically, like if you have a 5x5 grid, one of the rows says 3, 1. That means there's going to be 3 blocks filled in, there's going to be 1 empty space, or multiples, and then 1 space. But those two numbers are going to be separate.
Yeah, it's this sequential number of filled in the row. So if you've got 10 and it's 3, 1, somewhere in that you're going to have a sequence of 3 and then a sequence of 1.
Right. With a break, at least one break in between.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Color Picross is if you have that same 5x5 grid and you have one that says like it's a green number 3 and it's an orange number 1, that doesn't mean that there's a break in between. It just means that there are 3 greens and 1 orange. So they could be right next to each other. And I find that really frustrating.
Is it like that one of those things where it's just like one level too high for your brain to function? Like, is it like using 2 sticks at once? Like, you use 2 sticks at once in Geometry Wars and it's fine. You can shoot with one and you can move with the other, and you get it because it's a single point that you're focusing on.
Right.
and then you use two sticks in brothers, and one of the brothers is running around in a circle while you're trying to figure out which brother is controlled by which
The other one falls
stick.
off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like that. And I play nonogram games to be... I usually play them like before bed or when I'm waking up, sort of to either... mostly to get my brain continuing to sort of chug along. And I feel like colored Picross is like just a little too much. It's stressing my brain a little bit more than I would normally like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna stick with it though, because Clip Picross is back, and that seems like the puzzles are even bigger, and now there's more of them. So, and I like nonogram games a lot. I have like 7 of them installed on my phone. I play them a lot. So, it's nice to have one on my Switch, and it's nice to have one that functions really, really well. It's a well playing. We talked about Puzzle Arcade last week, and it's like, how can you screw up a puzzle game, like building a puzzle? Pretty easy. It's like, how can you screw up a nonogram game? Pretty easily. So both of those games are pretty good. Maybe not the best starter games, but maybe the first Picross S might be. I have Division 2 written down here, and I wrote it down because I started it, and I thought, well, I'll put it on my list because I'll probably do something. I didn't. I captured a couple of control points. I did a couple of executions and, radio things, and that was about it. And I had a hell of a great time.
Yeah.
If that's how we're going to do this, my list is longer because I turned on a lot of games this week and didn't do anything.
Yep.
I played, I think, 3 hours. Like, I sat down for about 3 hours, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do some side missions. I'm going to do a main mission or two. Like, let's start clearing out some areas of DC. And then it's sort of like, hey, man, do you want to... These elites are carrying a chest. Do you want to stop them? It's like, yes, I do. Hell yeah, let's do this. And then I didn't really... I had a lot of fun. I didn't get a lot done, which is probably the tagline for Division 2.
Yep, especially in the end game point.
Yeah, and it's so hard, and I'm glad that a lot of people are playing the Division 2. It's really hard to explain how satisfying it is to play this game, but man, is that game good.
Yep.
It's really great, and I still really bummed I didn't play the first one. Maybe someday. I own it.
You should be. And also, don't we have that on We Rogue Like It as well?
Oh yeah, what was that mode?
The survival mode.
Yeah. Someday we'll be doing that. So yeah. Looking forward to that. Destiny 2, the egg hunt continues. I'm now out of 33 out of 40. I got a super cool group of guys together for Shattered Throne last night to get the last couple I needed in there. This time, I usually play with a lot of British people. This time was an Australian, which was a nice change of pace.
Nearest makes no difference.
Yeah, there you go.
They're happier because the weather is better, but nearest makes no difference.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, I need a cosmetic drop from the Shattered Throne. I need the ship from there.
I was going to ask this because you said you ran someone through it.
Yep.
And they got the ship.
Yep. That
Sounds about right.
I want to be frustrated because I want that ship so I can not do Shattered Throne anymore. It's an incredible piece of content that I'm kind of sick of doing. And it's like the last 2 things I need for an entire title. But I'm super happy for him because he got like the hardest thing out of the title to get. So all the rest of the stuff is super easy. So, and thankfully he was super cool about it because some people would be like, oh, like rubbing in your face. But most people that are still playing Destiny at this point are pretty cool as long as they're not playing Gambit. Those are the real jerks.
Man, I used to remember when I played Destiny 1, I had a clan that I played with, and everyone had a Galahorn but me. Mm-hmm. And I finally got that stupid thing the day before they released the patch to make it so that it would drop, like the drop ratio was better.
Right.
And then they also nerfed it.
Yeah. That's how it happened with me with Oh boy, what was that one hand cannon?
Thorn?
No, it was the I used it so much in Destiny 1. The bird one.
Hawkeye?
Yeah, Hawkeye. I used that one. Hawk Moon, sorry.
Or Hawk Moon, yeah.
I use that so much, but I literally got it like the week after they nerfed it completely, and it's just like, son of a.
I got that. I think the second time. Whatever, I don't even remember how you got it, but I got it the second time we ran something, and everyone was so mad at me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was the only thing I had on everybody.
Yeah, so I need to get one egg in the raid. I'm trying to find a group of people that just want to do this one boss fight to then get it right after, which seems to be a pretty popular thing. And then over the next 2 weeks, I'll get the rest of my need, and then I'll be almost done with all that stuff. I did finally unveil the secrets of the Black Armory, and got Izanagi's Burden, the sword sniper rifle.
Yeah, the paint job on the side of that thing is amazing.
Yeah, it's when you reload it, it makes like swishing sword noises. It's really great.
It's so dumb, and I love it.
Yeah, it's the cool thing about that sniper rifle is it's in your primary slot, and you can hold the reload button to load 4 bullets at once, and it does something like 5 times the amount of damage it normally would. It's really great. It was a really long and really interesting quest, and I did the sort of puzzle right after that and finished Black Armory. There's still one more thing I'd love to do in Black Armory, but I'm fairly sure I'll never get the chance to do it. So I've sort of come to terms with that. Maybe someday, but it's that thing that came out with the end of Black Armory, where people are figuring out that like 7-stage puzzle and all that stuff. Everyone knows the answers now. I just don't think anyone wants to do it anymore. Which, sure, I mean, yeah, who would blame them? I think it's like once a week or something, Apple puts out on the App Store, puts like a 5 new games we love sort of thing. I always look through there just to say like, oh, is there anything cool coming out? Like Metal Slug Infinity. There's a new Angry Birds game out called Angry Birds Dream Blast. I downloaded it. I said, all right, there's another Angry Birds game. Let's see what this one's about.
Does it evolve every week? Like, does it change and the birds suddenly remember stuff that happened but forget it?
Redbird won't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's driving me crazy. I cannot remember what game this is like. But basically, you have orbs that are falling down from the top of the screen, and you tap on 4 or more orbs that are connected, and that turns into a bird.
Okay.
And you can combine birds, like 2 red birds or a yellow bird, 2 yellow birds or a black bird. And you're sort of trying to destroy orbs on the screen or like stuff in the background or rocks or things like that. It's not bad.
It sounds a bit like Threes, except with an Angry Bird skin.
Yeah, it's not really. It's almost like it's not like they're on a grid. Mm-hmm. They're just sort of loose. It's almost like the inverse of like Puzzle Bobble, where instead of shooting up at the bubbles, they're sort of falling down and you're tapping them. And it's killing me that I can't remember what it's like, but it's not bad. I think I'm like 30 levels deep, and so far I haven't run into that brick wall that a lot of these games are, where it's like, sure, you can play this game for free until it gets nearly impossible to do so, and then you have to buy something.
Yes, the Candy Crush, you can't beat this level without paying money.
Exactly. Would you like to try again on this level? I was like, oh,
no.
You get 5 more turns. I was like, oh no, please don't. So far, so good. I mean, I looked at the Rovio page on the App Store, and they have like 13 Angry Birds games out, so...
I'm surprised it's only 13. I'm surprised it's not like 5,000 at this point.
Well, they have like an Angry Birds RPG, and they have like a Puzzle Bobble version, and they have Angry Birds 2, and there's just a lot.
And they had like all the Star Wars ones too. They were doing a lot of collaborations there for a bit.
Yeah, the Star Wars one was pretty cool.
And they also did the one with the animated movie that I can't remember, Rio. They also have that version.
That's right. Yep. Well, there's a lot of them. Yeah. And we already talked about Isaac on Switch. So lastly, Enter the Gungeon. I finally got the platinum for Enter the Gungeon. 3 years later, I finally collected 5 master rounds in one run. That was the stupidest, strongest run I've ever had in Gungeon. So it bears a little bit explaining. I got Gunther really early on. Gunther is this gun, has infinite ammo, and it's not really great when you pick it up. And it insults you, which is really good.
Okay.
But it gets stronger and stronger the more rooms you clear with it. Up until a point where the gun respects you. At that point, the bullets are piercing and homing and reflecting, and it gets really, really, really strong. I then picked up an item called Clone, which, when you die while you're holding the clone, it starts you all the way back at the beginning of the Gungeon, but you have all the items you already had.
Oh, so you're just a little bit OP at that point.
Right, especially since I had a fully powered up Gunther. I'm just mowing through this game. The third item that was really the key here is I very quickly, on my second run through, picked up the Metronome. The Metronome is this really... I love these risk-reward items in roguelikes. It's a gun. It's an item that strengthens your gun power, so every gun gets stronger, for every enemy you kill. Up until a point, but it goes pretty far. But whenever you get hit, it erases all of those bonuses completely, and you have to build them back up. So it really rewards you playing very clean. And since I was super overpowered with Gunther, I just kept him getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So as part of that, I got all 5 master rounds, which got me the last achievement for the platinum. It also unlocked something called the Super Hot Watch, which is just a watch.
Does it turn everybody red and then slow down time?
Well, it does half of that, and I totally forgot what it does until... So I'm trying to unlock the last secret character, who I won't say who it is since it's a spoiler. But basically, you have to go as the Paradox, Binding of Isaac's Eden, sort of alike, and complete the game and beat the Lich, the very final boss. It then respawns you as the secret character. You have to go through the game, beat the dragon, and then beat the past for that character, and then it'll unlocked. I made the mistake of picking up the Super Hot Watch on the second half of that run, the really hard part, because I thought, oh, it should be fine. I just unlocked it. It should be fine. It changes the game, so time moves only when you move.
Interesting.
It turned Gungeon into a much harder game. To say that I lost that run would be putting a good spin on it. I crashed and burned on that run hard. I was really upset. I'd done really well on the first thing, and it takes away all your items when we respawn as the other secret character, and then I just totally screwed myself. So,
well,
I have to do that whole thing back over again to go try to unlock that secret character.
At least you're not doing as agreed ones until you can get angel rooms. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we are both in our own purgatory here.
We did it to ourselves.
Yeah, I love roguelikes too much. I have to do everything in them. But it has been a lot of fun running into a lot of the unlocking a bunch of new stuff, because I'm doing a lot of the supply drop and AG&G, the other DLC and the Farewell to Arms stuff. So I have a lot of stuff left to unlock, and I just found apparently there's you can spawn an even harder version of the Dragon, which I don't know how to do yet, and I'm almost a little scared of.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I haven't fought the secret rat boss either, which, if you're a big fan of the end of Metal Gear Solid 1, it's that fight.
Wait, let me try and remember what the end of Metal Gear Solid 1 is.
It's the same as the end of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the big punch out. Yeah, they recreate that in Gungeon.
Oh, wow.
Which is really great. So I haven't yet had the pleasure of doing that, but the Gungeon is so great. It is. I'm very much looking forward to it showing up on We Roguelike It, so you can finally dive into it, Moon.
Every time I scroll past it, I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
not going to start it. I'm not even going to start it because that's like another year and a half long worth of episodes.
Yeah, and we did we mentioned this earlier at the top about Isaac. Dodge Roll Games did this crazy thing where they patched all 4 versions of the game at the same time.
Wait, it's possible? It's possible to patch
free.
everything at the same time?
What's really great is it seems like they they worked really, really, really hard on this version. Really haven't been any bugs, which has been really great. They've been plagued, not due to their fault, but a lot of games nowadays, especially roguelikes, are very complex beasts. And it seems like they keep getting bitten by these weird edge case bugs where it's like, if you have these 3 items together and you roll through a door, it crashes your game. It's like, of course. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Enter Gungeon is really great. And all of those DLC packs were free. So if you buy Enter the Gungeon, you just get a truckload of really great stuff altogether.
That's the funny thing is, like, I picked up that game probably about 2 years ago or something when it was on sale. And over the course of time, I've just been watching the title screen of like the game screen on your like installed games list. I've been watching that change and evolve with every update that comes out.
I was like, oh, there's a new patch. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, go play Enter the Gungeon. It's really great. And that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk about releases for the week of April 29th, 2019. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age comes out on the Switch and Xbox One. If you've listened to literally any episode of this show, I like Final Fantasy XII a lot. You should go play it. It does not play itself. Don't listen to the haters. You're
And it
feeling
looks
Final
great,
Fantasy
too.
13.
Is this the 40 hours of singular corridors before the world opens up game?
No, that's 13.
Yeah, that's 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Final Fantasy since like 11.
13 is fine. It's probably one of the weakest of the sort of second half of the Final Fantasy games.
It was one of those weird ones where they started dipping into the MMO aspect of things when the game's not an MMO.
God, it's so good. And this is the one too where the Zodiac Age brings in a job system to Final Fantasy XII. In this one, you can reset your jobs if you make a mistake, which is huge. So you don't have to worry about like reading guides and facts and all that stuff before you start. So apparently, it looks real good on Xbox One. So go get it. And Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action comes out on the Switch, which is a game I keep meaning to play, and I just have not yet.
That sounds like a beer tapper kind of game.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of, and I think it's in the same universe as, oh boy, what was the Cyberpunk adventure game we played on Game Club?
You recently unlocked an item.
2064?
2064 read-only memories?
Yeah, that one. It's like in the same universe.
Okay.
as that. So, speaking of a game that people probably have not gotten around to yet, and you might want to wait until next year, Persona 5 The Royal finally announced after like 2 or 3 teaser trailers.
Was this DLC or is this?
It's a brand new game. Well, It is a brand new game, and there's some language on the Japanese site that maybe if you've played the game before, you can kind of skip the middle of the game to kind of get to the new stuff, but that's not super clear yet. So far as we know, is a new Phantom Thief, so another person will be joining your crew. A new Confidant, that's social links for you Persona 4 peeps. A brand new area of Tokyo to explore, which should be great. And the game will also touch on the original game's missing third semester of school. Can't say why it was missing. That's a spoiler. But
is this coming out to all platforms, or
it's coming out on the PS4?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's frustrating. This is a very Japanese company doing Japanese things, so it's not super surprising. But I was hoping that Atlus would look at the very least at the success of the Yakuza games on Steam and say, well, maybe we also put it out on PC, because I think Persona 5 would do really well on PC.
Apologies if I suddenly disconnect. It's just a plane crashing into my house.
Okay.
Good. Who's the latest character for Smash Brothers again?
Joker from Persona 5.
And what console is that on?
That's on the Switch.
And
It is genuinely really surprising Persona 5 isn't coming on Switch. I probably guessed that in our predictions last year. We won't know until December, but I'm genuinely surprised that they're not taking this advantage of this. Like Persona 4 Golden doing very well on the Switch, or on the Vita still. It's very surprising for them to not put that out on home consoles, or on the Switch.
Unless someone has an exclusivity, which you guarantee if Sony had the exclusivity for Persona, they would be touting as much, and 100%. They never have.
Yeah.
So, just put it on the Xbox.
Atlus continues to make really surprising and really dumb choices. They are really not making the right choices in nearly every case. So this is coming to Japan this year and the West in 2020. So if you haven't played Persona 5 and you want to, probably wait for this version. So you can now spend 150 hours with Persona. But the weird thing is they also announced Persona 5S at the same time, and everyone's like, all right, here comes the Switch port. This is the S is for Switch. Nope. It is coming out for PS4 and Switch. It's a Musou game, a Dynasty Warriors Persona game.
Yep. S is for Musou.
yeah, S is for Musou. This game looks really cool. Really kind of crappy to call it Persona 5S, though.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it stands for Strikers, if I remember correctly. I think it's technically called Persona 5 Strikers.
No, I'm pretty sure we said it's Musou.
Yes, that's right. Persona 5 Musou.
Yes.
S'mores.
It stands for Slash Those Fools.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm gonna keep an eye on it because I haven't really played a Musou game. Like I know the Zelda ones were really good, and I never really got any of those. I think Fist of the North Star was one too, right?
I don't know about the most. No, that was the Yakuza version of Fist of the North Star, but
right.
The Dynasty Warriors Fist of the North Star game was incredibly fun. Yeah. So dumb. It's very much the same as the Dynasty Warriors games, where if you like beating up thousands of people,
right,
it's the game for you.
It's like Earth Defense Force. You can play it, and you can just play it to blow up a bunch of stuff, and then there's this larger meteor game on the end of it if you really want to get to it. If not, I was thinking the Berserk Musou game. That's the one I was thinking of. I don't know why that just popped in my brain. So Persona 5S is coming out. Okay. That's not the game everybody wants, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. Normally when Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo come out with a press release, we really don't talk about it. We've talked a lot of yang about PS Now, deservedly, over the last 5 years it's been out, 4 years maybe.
Mm-hmm. And weren't they supposed to use the PlayStation Plus memberships to improve their network as well?
Yeah. Yeah. PS Now has 700,000 subscribers.
How?
That's a lot of people. Obviously, it's not as much as what was the figure here for total sales? Total sales of the console are 96.8 million. So obviously, it's just a fraction.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never guessed that that's over 100,000 people. And Sony's saying it's up 40% year over year because now you can download those games and you don't have to stream them.
Yep.
So that's...
How many of these people just forget to cancel it every month?
Well, I mean...
It is WoW...
It is $20 a month or $100 a year.
Oh, jeez.
So probably not a lot of people.
It's the WoW/Netflix model.
Exactly.
It's like, we'll get you in and then you'll just forget.
And the selection of games isn't that bad. It's not like Game Pass where it's just like, oh, that game just came out. Like, oh, yeah, let's do that. It doesn't have its Forza Horizon 4 where it's like and Crackdown 3 where it's like that's a cheap price for a brand new game. But I'm surprised it's doing so well for them, and I'm glad they put the download option in there because it means more people can use it as opposed to, well, I can't use the streaming thing because the internet sort of sucks in general.
Yes, it does.
And last news story here, it appears the 3DS is finally quietly being put out to pasture. If you remember, this time last year, Nintendo had an investor call where they were saying, oh, the first-party games, third-party games, we got it. We love the 3DS. We are dedicated to this hardware platform. They did not mention it this year in the investor call at all. So, sweeping it under the rug with the Vita and just saying, no, it's a thing.
I don't know if you could call the Vita being swept under the rug. They dragged that thing
through
kicking and screaming
I think they just
shot it in public.
They threw it out the window on the freeway. It's like, see you later. Good luck in the wild.
I mean, I'll give the 3DS full credit where it's due. That thing did not go quietly into the night.
No.
It hung around, and the only thing that's given it a run for its money and survivability is the Vita, and that's because the fans who love the Vita love the Vita.
Well, and I think Nintendo is in an enviable position where they are having their juggernaut portable console being replaced by an even bigger portable console. It's just sort of like, what am I going to do with all this food? I'm going to put it in this other room with more food. It's like, it's literally an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah. I mean, good on them. Nintendo do what Nintendo.
Yep. And the Switch is incredible. It's not one of those things where it's like, I can't believe this pile is doing successfally. The Switch is really great.
I'm playing Breath of the Wild on a 4K TV with the Switch docked.
Yeah,
because I can't play that game remotely. It's Nintendo's art style. It's Nintendo's way. The thing looks amazing. I'm not going to buy any of the third-party stuff for it. Like, I don't care about Skyrim for the 50th time. I don't
it's
care
still
about
Skyrim.
Doom. But Nintendo have got that art style, and Nintendo know how to sell their art style.
Yep.
Good on them.
Yeah. Let's move over to questions. First up, Jimbo Jangles sends us an email. Hey, TVGP, Jimbo Jangles here. Hello. My question this week: Do you remember the first game you ever beat? All right, bye.
Yep, because it took me probably about 17,000 million attempts. Alex Kidd.
Oh, woof! That's a long game.
Mm-hmm. Can't beat Qbert because it just keeps on going. I never could get past, funnily enough, Monaco on Super Monaco GP on the Amstrad. Whereas Alex Kidd on the Master System, the built-in game that you just turn the console on and play it, even with its completely BS rock, paper, scissors fights.
Oh, God. The worst.
And then the very last level in that game had a pixel-perfect platforming sequence that if you didn't get it right, you were dead.
Of course.
That led to another rock, paper, scissors boss fight.
Oh, of course. God,
Somehow we beat it. I think it was Miracle World, but I'm not 100% sure because I always get the Alex Kidd games mixed up.
God, what would have been my first? Because the hard part about growing up is so many, like you're talking about with Qbert, so many of these games just either they were quarter munchers, so you never really finished them, or they were just infinite. I think maybe my first one was maybe Final Fantasy 1. Because I'm thinking, I don't know if I ever really finished the first Super Mario Brothers. Because those last couple levels got really tough. And I had the strategy guide for the first Final Fantasy. So I think that one pulled me through.
Have you played any of the new Super Mario Brothers stuff?
Like which ones? The
2D side-scrolling up to 4 players, like remastered like things. Like the newer versions of them.
Yeah, I played New Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2 on the 3DS, I think. And I played God, what was the Mario game that came out for Wii U before, like the last one that came out before Odyssey?
I think it was New Super Mario Brothers Wii U or 2 or something, but the last levels on those things were just as bad as that original game.
I mean, Super Mario World, the last, the star levels of those are brutal. Yeah.
I was gonna say mine was actually the first Super Mario Brothers game because I had a lot of free time as a kid.
Yeah.
And had nothing better to do than bang my head up against the TV to figure out what I was doing.
Yep.
Well, and around that time, like, we all had Nintendo Power, or someone on the schoolyard had Nintendo Power, so you knew where all the shortcuts were and all that.
And you knew the stupid shell on the stairs trick.
Yep.
I actually never got any of that because I didn't live stateside when I was a kid. So I was, one, the only kid that had a Nintendo, and two, the only kid playing video games at the time.
Right.
So, and this, obviously, no internet.
Right,
so if you didn't know something and you didn't have anyone to talk to, it was up to you to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever really finished anything on we had an Atari 5200, I think. I don't think I finished anything on that. Most of those were arcade games anyway, though. So usually, like, I played Congo Bongo. That was my first Sega game. And that's like 3 levels. And if you beat the 3rd level, it just starts you back over. So it's like, there's never really any end to it.
Or you just had the older arcade games where you just kept playing until it started glitching out because it was running out of memory.
Yeah, exactly.
That just reminded me of Streets of Rage, where you get to the last boss, you agree to make a deal with him, and he sends you back to the beginning of the game.
Yep. God, Streets of Rage were great games.
Man.
Yeah. Great question, Jimbo. Thank you so much. Servo in Discord asks us, with the next generation of consoles on the way, there's been examples of super fast load times cited. These times are fractions of what they used to be. Developers would often put tooltips on loading screens with actual useful information sometimes. Faster loads might limit the ability for devs to use these to hide load times. This brings me to my question. Would you rather have quick load times and a longer tutorial, or would you rather have current-gen load times with tooltips and a quick tutorial?
The latter for me, because do you know what? Like, pretty much most games these days are one big load time, and then any further load times are relatively small.
It's like the open world model.
Yeah, Red Dead does it, Grand Theft Auto does it. Far Cry 5, they have done something with the DLC in that game. The load times on that are so much quicker than they were when that game came out.
Interesting.
I prefer that because, generally speaking, we've played a lot of video games. I'm no scrub when it comes to video games, so I can generally get the gist of a game relatively quickly. Yeah. So give me a small tutorial, get into the action a bit faster. Because when I load up the game, I go make myself a cup of tea. Right. So I don't care about the 5 minutes waiting or whatever, because I'm busy making myself a drink or doing something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of go back and forth on that too, because I want to bring up Elite Dangerous, because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. With that game, you've got about a 5-minute load time when you start it.
Right.
But then after that, the game is just hands off. Originally, when the game came out, it didn't really have a tutorial. So if you turned off flight assist, you're going all over the place in space. And if you don't remember what button combination you hit to turn it back on, you're kind of just SOL until you figure it out.
Right.
And I kind of liked it about the game, where you were just kind of thrown into this world, and either you were expected to know what you were doing, or you were expected to figure it out real quick.
Right.
So I would prefer it just to be the quicker load time. That way, like Moon was saying, you're just in the action because you're going to die. And 9 times out of 10 with games now, you're going to read that same tip over and over and over again. Like, hey, remember, if you get a grenade thrown at you, you can throw it back. It's like, I know.
I got it. Unless it's something cool like the Division 2 where you have like the 3 sets of info.
Yeah, that's a really nice touch on it. Real quick spot check. Flight assist combination for HOTAS setup that you currently have. What are the buttons?
I have to hold down B and then the B3 button, which is my vertical lift.
And what about on the Xbox controller?
I don't remember.
For me, because I only use the Xbox controller, it's hold A and hit right bumper. You need to know that is the flight assist button.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, how that game remaps your mind, because I haven't played with an Xbox controller in so long. If I tried to do it now, I don't think I'd be able to get out of poor.
Yep.
I think that the interesting thing about this is, I know there's been a lot of people that said, like, oh, well, you can get an SSD for your current consoles. But I think that the interesting thing is when it's part of the base console, developers can create a game with that in mind. So, like, Division 2 on PS4 has texture streaming issues, so you deal with some texture pop-in. A lot of that stuff should go away with an SSD because SSDs are really good at reads and really bad at writes. So you're going to have a longer install time when you install the game to begin with, and then you're going to have really fast read times. I think to answer Servo's question, I would probably like quicker load times because I feel like what I'm playing a lot of nowadays are a lot of games as a service games where Destiny 2 you're flying to another planet, Division 2 you're doing fast travel. A lot of that stuff isn't that long, but it adds up. Yeah, it adds up over a session. Like, it might take me a minute to fly from one place to another in Destiny 2, but I might do that 15 times over a session. Division 2's load times aren't that bad when you're doing fast travel, but they feel a little bit long. And especially with fast travel in Division 2, just like with Destiny 2, not a lot of interesting stuff to look at. Which is fine, because it's doing a lot of work on the back end. But, I would probably rather some faster load times. Try and do as much as I can with my time I'm playing. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, rumors have started that next Rocksteady game will be Batman Outlaws: New Arkham. What would you want from the next Batman game? Do you think they would actually let us play as villains for some of the game?
I don't want another Batman game from Rocksteady.
I don't want another Batman game. That was my knee jerk was like, can we just not have another Batman game until like next gen?
Yeah.
Take a couple of years off. If you could scoot your camera down a little bit. Sir. There you go.
I would not want like 200 Riddler things.
Well, don't worry. Now there's 700.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's like, no, come on.
If they're gonna make a Batman game, give me Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I want Rocksteady to make something else. Like, what do they want to make? Or what's their dream game?
I don't want them to make a Batman game, but if they are, make it Gotham by Gaslight. Give me a Victorian, like steampunk kind of Batman game. But if they're gonna make something else, I don't know. So give them a crack at Superman. Let's see if Rocksteady can make a Superman game that makes sense.
I feel like T-Bomb is asking would they let us play as the villains for some of the game. I feel like if they were going to do that, they would probably brand it Suicide Squad to try and get... Not like the movie was well received, but I feel like that's something people know nowadays.
That brand has cachet these days.
Yeah. Maybe not always the best cachet, but it does have recognition.
Would you feel if they did like a Batman Dimensions, like how they did a Spider-Man Dimension?
That'd be great.
To play as the different versions of it, and maybe that would kind of give them feedback too. Like have the different styles like they did with the Spider-Man game. That way they could have a little bit more feedback on what people would want to play.
Yeah. Just randomly occurred to me. I want to see a Suicide Squad roguelike.
Oh no. yes. Crap, I do too now.
As soon as you said Suicide Squad, what we're throwing Calendar Man as a selectable character?
You're seeing that carousel of characters from Isaac, and you're just like, put all the Suicide Squad in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. But yeah, don't make another Batman. Just wait a couple of years. Put that on the PS5 and the Anaconda.
Mm-hmm.
We can wait. That'll be able to hold 1,000 Riddler trophies on the next gen. Just think of it.
Stop talking about Riddler trophies, please. I have nightmares thinking about those.
I'll stop talking about the 1,200 Riddler trophies. T-Bomb also asked us another question. Patch for Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey will be boosting the CPU from 1 GHz to 1.7 GHz. This is on the Switch. This will decrease the load times. Do you think Nintendo throttled the CPU so the system would not overheat, or they've just gotten more familiar with the hardware? But maybe both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I could see it being both because Switch has been out for how long now?
A couple of years, right?
I was gonna say so they probably have a better understanding on what they're doing with it now. Same thing with like any other console. Once it's been out for a couple of years, developers have a better understanding on how they can just eke out that little bit more power to it. And
yeah.
Yeah, and they just put out patches to enable a VR mode in both of those games. So it was probably a good opportunity for them to mess around with the internals a little bit of both games' code and say, if this wasn't coming out, they probably would have never done it. But especially with Breath of the Wild, increasing the CPU speed for a load screen probably isn't going to tax your Switch that much.
No.
And then sort of pulling the speed back on that thing once the actual game loads. We were just talking about load times. The shorter you can make the load times especially for a handheld, the better experience it's going to be. So,
yeah.
And has there been any issues with the Switch overheating at all or getting really hot?
Not that I've heard of.
No, well, I'm pretty sure everybody learned their lesson from Microsoft in that, and everybody starts low and works up higher.
Well, and you always hear these horror stories of people that my Switch overheated in my dock, or the dock scratched my screen, or the Ethernet adapter overheated my Switch. There's always horror stories about that, and you find out it's like in an airtight cabinet under someone's TV, and it's like, yeah, man, that's what did it. Just consoles got to breathe, man. But yeah, I think that's interesting. It's cool to see Nintendo go back to some of this stuff, especially Breath of the Wild, since load times could get a little bit longer on that. But again, it's an open world game, so it's not totally out of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, I don't ever remember having an issue with the load time for that game anyway.
Yeah.
It was mostly for me, it's the on-death load times when it figures out when your last checkpoint is, and into and out of shrines, it always does a bit of a load.
Yeah.
But it's not like the 10-minute load times. It's only like a minute or two tops.
Right. Yeah, it's never that bad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for sending in your questions. We always really appreciate it. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everyone will find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. We talked about Old Dog New Flicks. It'll be a really good Outcast for this week. We talked about a bunch of stuff. You get early access to We Rogue Like It. You get a whole bunch of extra stuff. $5 level is the recommended level. And again, that's just a month. It's not for every episode. Just $5. Mm-hmm. That's cheap. I can't even buy like a burger out here for that much. It's like $8. It's crazy.
Well, that saves you right for living on the West Coast.
God, it's the worst.
I live on the East Coast, so it's just as bad here. So
that's true. Yeah. Game Club. We're playing Florence right now, available on iOS and Android. It's like 2 or 3 hours. So I haven't started it yet because if I start it now, I'll forget it by the time we do the recap episode. So go play Florence. I think that's it. Moonpierce Cat is totally asleep back there, so we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I wrote down a ton of titles this time. Well, there are a lot of 2-line ones. A lot of long titles this week.
Yes.
Yeah, I kept zoning out.
Zone of the Endering out.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
I'm not writing that one down. I'm going to veto that immediately.
Yeah, don't. What do you have? Let's start with you, Nimp.
So I've got Orbital Item, Platinum God. Just became a red pole. Build-A-Bear Far Cry level. Egg hunt continues. Redbird won't forget that.
I forgot I said that.
I was really upset. Both in purgatory. S is for Muso. Persona 5 Smuso. And console's gotta breathe.
Well, S is for Muso. All right, Moon, what about you?
You big twerp. In a rage. Brainless gaming. Just a quickie. 1-1 of first-person shooters. Right combination, wrong directions. Frustratingly good. Ding Dong Ditch XL. We did it to ourselves. And S is for Muso.
I have The Blue Candle is Mine. Slow progression continues slowly. Build-A-Bear for Far Cry. Frustratingly good at video games. I found my esport. The 1-1 of first-person shooters. Redbird won't forget that, and S is for Muso. I feel like S for Muso is one of the finalists.
Yeah, I'm torn between that and 1-1 of first-person shooters.
I really like the 1-1 of first-person shooters. I feel like that's...
I don't know if we have to do 1-1 of FPS or 1-1 of first-person shooters, but...
I was going to spell it out. Because the 1-1 of FPS is probably too short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think, Nimp?
I like S's for Musos. Or Muso.
Now, here's the question is, how do you spell Muso?
Musou.
I had an extra O in there.
Yeah. I think I'm going to pick 1-1 of first-person shooters, because I feel like that's a TVGP title, and I don't believe we've done it before.
No, I'm sure we've probably had a 1-1 of blank before.
Probably. Let me search. I mean, we've only done 600 episodes. We have not done that.
That's a shocker.
That is a shocker. All right, I'm going to circle it.
All right.
The 1-1 of first-person shooters. Let me know when you gents are ready. And
I'm ready.
I can see the ideas percolating.
But as soon as that was the title, I know exactly what I'm going to say. And it's pretty much exactly what I said in the show.
Okay. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 601 for April 29th, 2019. The 1-1 of first-person shooters.
Nuketown sucks.
You need to rack it, then tap it, and then you can pull the trigger.
All right, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us live. We appreciate it, as always, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Dwight says bye, too.